New friends, new opportunities, new partners, EG Tax.
Hi, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax, and we just thank you that you've joined us on Ask the Tax Lady, where we're going to cover pertinent and relevant tax topics to help you to reduce your tax liability. Our job is to make sure that you don't pay more taxes than you should, and we want to get you so that you understand the old law that is still in effect for 2017 and the phase-in of the new law, which is in effect for 2018. So we want to blend both of those ends of the spectrum. The most sweeping tax reform that ever happened just happened the end of last year. So we want to make sure that you understand how things are going to change moving forward in the tax law. And I got Chris Fabian.
Hello,
Chris,
Esther.
And Tiffany Fabian.
Hello, Esther.
And of course, what's so cool is we have our own roving reporter, Dominic Taverna, who's out and about across Western New York, and he's asked people, do they have any tax questions? And so what's so cool is we're going to actually answer people's tax questions. But in the meantime, in case you don't know, EG Tax has 33 area offices. We are throughout Western New York, all the way from Pennsylvania all the way up to Lake Ontario, from the west side all the way to Rochester. We're in
two new locations this year, in the Boulevard Mall in Amherst, and then Lewiston, New York. Very excited.
Right, and we're in Florida and Arizona.
Yep.
And our website has all kinds of information. Tax helps. You can actually prepare your own return through our website. Just go to egtax.com. You can be sitting home at 11 o'clock on Sunday night with your iPad, and you can ask me a tax question, and I bet you I answer it within 15 minutes, because we want to make sure that you understand what's going on in the wonderful world of taxes. The other thing is we want to make sure as tax season progresses, if you find out that your refund is being held up, or you get letters from the IRS, or maybe you sent your return and it's rejected, make sure that you, if the return especially has been rejected, that you correct the error that caused the return to be rejected. Otherwise, it's like you didn't even file the tax return.
And this year, if you don't answer the question about health coverage, your return won't even go electronically.
That's exactly right. It'll reject for that reason. And so if you think, oh, I'm going to skin the cat and I'm going to mail it in, they're going to not process the return that way. You have to deal with the health insurance questions. And remember, if you think that you're you've had identity theft because they have rejected your return, you can check with EG Tax and we'll help you with identity theft as well. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. We're going to take a short break for our commercial, and we'll be right back with Dominic, our roving reporter.
I'm attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to look at your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have right now? If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it may be too much. Isn't it time that you talk to an attorney about a fresh start? I've been helping many people in debt over the years, and I don't charge for an initial consultation about debts. Call for a free consultation. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Hi, this is Tiffany Fabian, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. Ryan's 17 plus years of experience saved me money on my premium and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Ryan will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. For all your insurance needs, call Ryan Ferraro at 688-2199. Again, 688-2199.
Wagner Mechanical Air is a multi-service company. We're a commercial refrigeration and HVAC company. We service and install residential and commercial heating and cooling systems. We service and install for restaurants and hotels walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, prep tables, and beer wine coolers, just to name a few. Ice Machine Lease is now available as well. Includes all service calls and cleanings of ice machines. If interested in Ice Machine Lease or our other services, please call our offices today.
At Neutrino Auto, we have what your car needs. We provide car care and maintenance service like no other. All of our service technicians are ASC certified, so you know your car is in excellent hands. Parts, parts, parts! And yes, did we mention we have more parts? And we even service and have parts for tractors. Cars, we sell them too. Here at Neutrino Auto, we have everything that you need to hit the pavement today. Call us today. Neutrino Auto, quality service since 1927.
I'm Esther Goliath, the tax lady from EG Tax with Tiffany Fabian and Christopher Fabian, and we're here to make sure that your taxes are understandable, that you don't overpay, and we want to make sure that you know that to us, your family. And we have right now standing by Dominic Taverna, who's out and about with somebody who's got a tax question.
Hey, it's Dominic again inside the McKinley Mall, and we have another tax question for Esther, and I'm here with, what's her name?
Miss Julie.
Miss Julie. Miss Julie, what do you want to ask Esther?
Esther, I'm just starting a business, and what do I need to know?
What do you think, Esther?
Oh my gosh. Well,
wow.
what should I do?
What shouldn't he do?
Maybe we should change it. What shouldn't
That's
he do?
true.
Oh,
And we
great
don't
minds
want to
think alike.
we don't want to make people feel
Scared.
like, right, it's a
Overwhelming.
daunting experience. It really isn't. First of all, there are many people who are self-employed that don't think they have a business,
Right.
right? And so let's first deal with those kind of people. Somebody that has little self-employment income who hasn't really registered with the state, are they still self-employed?
Probably, unless it's a hobby, probably.
Well, right.
Right.
And so if you
Yes.
have self-employment income, that's still taxable.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
And so what form are you going to use?
The Schedule C.
Right. And you're going to reduce the expenses to make the income on the Schedule C,
You're
and you're
not.
going to pay. And you're going to pay taxes on the bottom line.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
So even though you haven't legally registered the
Registered.
business, you still have to
Absolutely.
file. And so you're still self-employed.
You are.
Right?
Yep. But
Now-
a lot of people are under the misconception that they are not.
That's
but
right.
They are.
But they are. And if you're getting 1099s from vendors and you think, oh well, I'm just not going to report it, you will get a letter from the IRS in the summertime with FICA due on that money plus income taxes because
Yeah, I just ran into a guy the other day, and he says that he delivers cadavers to medical students.
what a
And he's
fun job.
right, and he's going to receive a 1099. He said, is there any way to get rid of that 1099? And I said,
Well, you reduce it by your
that's
expenses,
right. But there's no way
And maybe
to
psychological counseling. No, I'm only kidding. So all the mileage would be
Deductible, cell
and maybe he's
phone,
got to get special
gloves.
gloves and stuff. You know,
Freezers.
that's all going to be deductible. But I think the important thing
Dry
is when
ice.
you're doing and you're self-employed, you want to make sure that you put yourself into the mindset of the person making the income.
That's right.
But to go back to the original question from our guy is, what should you do? First of all, you want to make sure that you get all your proper insurances,
Yep.
Right.
right?
Yep.
So if you're going to have employees, you got to make sure you get workers' comp, liability insurance, and that is not necessarily
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
There's the disability insurance.
Right.
Now there's the new Family Leave Act
oh,
insurance too.
that's important. So let's talk about the Family Leave Act.
Okay. The Family Leave Act is an extension of the state Family Leave Act, where it's another 8 weeks off that someone can have because of either a birth of a child, death, sickness, you know.
So
Of
an
a close
employer,
family
an
member.
employer
Close
has
family
to get
member.
an insurance policy.
Right.
Yep.
in
So
case.
so if you have employees, then through your payroll company, these employees are going to have X amount of dollars withheld from each paycheck, which funds the insurance policy,
yep.
right? That's the Family Leave Act. So if this guy's starting a new business, that's and he's going to have employees, he's going to have the workers' comp, he's going to have the liability, the Family Leave Act insurance. The other thing is he wants to make sure, does he have to collect and pay sales
Sales
taxes?
Right.
Big important thing. If you're self-employed and you haven't been collecting sales taxes and they just haven't bothered you, you want to call New York State Sales Tax Department to make sure whether or not you have to
Yeah.
collect sales
They're
taxes
very helpful.
because they're very helpful and they also will very much penalize you.
Yes.
That's
but-
why they're so helpful.
Yes, on every accord.
Right.
That's true.
Then the next thing you want to do is you're going to hold yourself out for business and you have to open up a bank account. Now, you need an employer ID number, right? So in order to open a bank account, you need an
Well,
EIN number,
If it's a DBA, it's your social security number.
but many people get the EIN, right?
Right.
But so then you open up your bank account and then you're going to start keeping accurate records.
Right.
The only thing that goes into this bank account is the deposits.
And the only thing that comes out of it are the expenses.
Right. You don't put the deposits
in.
in your personal account, and you don't pay your expenses out of your personal account.
Somebody
Everything goes in
Once told
from
me
that one account.
money in, money out, all
Right.
one same
So,
place.
but the bottom line is, you just want to make sure that you keep that clean set of banking, all your income and all your expenses. Now, if somebody's paying you cash, does that still go in?
Yes.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
because cash goes in, credit cards,
Bartering.
all goes in as income into your posting, and all your bills paid go into your expenses, and that's what goes on your Schedule C. Now, should the person that starts a small business think about a limited liability company?
A limited liability company, a corporation,
S-corp,
depending
C-corp
what
to
they're doing,
protect.
they should look at all aspects
So
to
that's-
protect their.
So that if anybody
So you're
went to
in
sue them.
business, but there are different business entities you can choose. You can be self-employed. You can be a self-employed LLC, limited liability company. You could, if you have a partner, become a partnership. You can be a subchapter S corporation or a C corporation, right? So you have to choose your business entity. Most people getting started are going to start with their Schedule C, but we would suggest that you look at the LLC because
It gives you
you want to
protection.
make sure that if anything happens and God forbid you break somebody's house,
Hose.
something at their home, and they sue you, that all they can do is take the assets from the company,
corporation.
and the limited liability will protect you. So will
As
a
long
corporation.
as there's no negligence
Right,
found.
on your part. So that's kind of what happens, is that you get your
Peel back
EIN
the
number, you start your bank
layers
account,
of
you
the
get your
onion.
insurance, you hire your employees, you make
Sales
sure your
tax.
employees have a payroll, their payroll records, and all of their payroll W-4s and everything in their little file. You have to make sure that you have New York State sales taxes, you have all your income and your expenses recorded, and then you timely file all your reports, right?
Right.
So that would be your sales tax report, your income tax reports, and on the bottom line.
Payroll.
And obviously, you'd want to meet with your accountant at some point in time to see if you need to make
And I think
estimated
a
payments.
really good idea is using like ADP or a paycheck service to help you with if you have employees.
If you don't have an accountant and you're doing your own books, don't wait to January the following year.
right.
true.
I mean, how many people do we see coming in April? Oh, here's all my stuff, and they throw everything out
Right,
on their desk.
right.
Do your books at least every other week so you know where your money's going.
And it really helps if you have a mid-course correction.
That's
right?
what I was just gonna say.
To make sure you know where you are. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back on the other side with your questions.
I'm attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to look at your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have right now? If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it may be too much. Isn't it time that you talk to an attorney about a fresh start? I've been helping many people in debt over the years, and I don't charge for an initial consultation about debts. Call for a free consultation. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Hi, this is Tiffany Fabian, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. Ryan's 17 plus years of experience saved me money on my premium and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Ryan will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. For all your insurance needs, call Ryan Ferraro at 688-2199. Again, 688-2199.
Wagner Mechanical Air is a multi-service company. We're a commercial refrigeration and HVAC company. We service and install residential and commercial heating and cooling systems. We service and install for restaurants and hotels walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, prep tables, and beer wine coolers, just to name a few. Ice Machine Lease is now available as well. Includes all service calls and cleanings of ice machines. If interested in Ice Machine Lease or our other services, please call our offices today.
At Neutrino Auto, we have what your car needs. We provide car care and maintenance service like no other. All of our service technicians are ASE certified, so you know your car is in excellent hands. Parts, parts, parts! And yes, did we mention we have more parts? And we even service and have parts for tractors. Cars, we sell them too. Here at Neutrino Auto, we have everything that you need to hit the pavement today. Call us today. Neutrino Auto, quality service since 1927.
Hi, Master Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, and we're answering your tax questions live. And we go back to our roving reporter, Dominic Taverna. What do we got, Dom?
Hey Esther, I owe the IRS back taxes. What should I do?
Okay, well, that's not really a good thing. What happens, though, is when people get in a
Pinch.
pinch, they have a tendency to stick their head in the sand. Don't you find that
Yes.
to be the
Yep.
case?
Yes.
Where many times they say, you know what I'm going to do? I owe the IRS money, so I'm going to not file the return because I don't want to let them know. And I'm going to save up the money so that I can pay the taxes. That's really the worst thing you can do.
It is. The
because
penalties are terrible.
if you ended up owing money, you probably don't have any extra money to save.
Right.
Number one. Number two, if you just let it go, what's going to happen is by the time that you think that you filed the extension, which is not good unless you pay the liability on October, you're going to owe so much in penalty and interest, you're never going to get out from under. So what I would suggest you do is you timely file the return and set up a payment program.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely. Or if you've discovered, you can call the IRS and they'll run through your money in and your money out. And if they find out that your expenses are more than your money in, you can go into a non-collectible status. And if you are found to be in a non-collectible status, you don't even actually have to make payments to the IRS.
That's true, but the penalty and interest is still accruing.
It is. It
So
is.
that's
But
like
for-
a
But
bad
after
thing.
10 years,
But for 10 years, the whole thing goes
if
away.
you're in
That's
a
true.
non-collectible
So
status.
if you're in a bad situation where maybe you have medical situation and you started off being in the hole, you timely file the return, you're in a non-collectible status and it stays that way
Right.
for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, they forgive the entire
Right,
debt.
and then not to mention, if you do an offer and compromise, we can't even do the paperwork for an offer and compromise for the federal and state until you do all
your
of your
tax
taxes.
returns.
So the first thing is to take your head out of the sand and start doing all those taxes.
That's right. Because at least then you know what you're dealing with. Now,
Right.
Tiffany mentioned an offer and compromise. Chris, you want to explain what an offer and compromise is?
Sure. We'll say this gentleman owes $50,000 to the IRS. We look at his assets, we look at the liabilities, and then we say, okay, well, your liabilities are up here, your assets are down here. We're going to be able to do pennies on the dollar, and we're
That's
going to
what-
figure
yeah.
everything out and say, okay, how about IRS, will you take $1,000 over 5 payments to clear up this debt? And they're going to review everything. They may come back and say, we're not going to take $1,000, we'll take $2,000.
Right.
But $2,000 instead of $50,000
It's a really good deal.
Is a really good deal.
But remember, it's got to be because you're unable to pay. I've had taxpayers who've owed money, who had money in their pension plan or money in assets or equity in their home, and they just didn't want to pay. Well, that person will not qualify for an offer and compromise. It has to be really somebody who's unable to pay. So when you submit these forms and you say, here's my assets, here's my liability, here's my income, and you really don't have the money to pay, they will accept pennies on the dollar. And the beautiful thing is you're out from under.
Right.
And then, you can go first.
They also look at your ability to make money.
Right, in the future.
In the future. It's like maybe you took money out, you had high medical bills to pay the doctors, but you became disabled. So now your income became less and you can't work anymore. Okay, that's fine.
Right.
But if you were, we'll say, a taxi cab driver, and now Uber's in town, and, well, I'm not getting the business anymore. The IRS is going to say, well, why not become an Uber driver?
Right.
Oh, or maybe they'll say, what's your degree in? Law. Well, go get a job being a lawyer.
Right.
You know, so they're
In
going to
other
look
words,
at your
if you
ability to make
if you
money.
have the ability to make money and you just haven't, they're not going to say, well, we're going to forgive $50,000 in
Right.
debt. We're going to say, go out
Get a
and
job.
get a job.
And then
Right?
also what I wanted to say is that I've had a handful of clients who didn't file. The IRS knows your assets. And so actually they dipped into her or his account and they started drawing upon their assets. So if you don't file, the IRS will file for you and take your assets.
How about, I know I've seen it, I believe you've seen it too,
Mm-hmm.
Tiff, where you get the person who owes, this person owed $50,000
Right.
or $30,000 from 5 years ago, 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and they haven't filed. But the next year they had a $4,000 refund. The next year they had a $4,000 refund. The next year they would have had a so
Right.
$12,000 that the IRS could have kept to put towards the debt,
But they didn't file.
never filed the
Right.
return.
So the
Right,
bottom line is,
right.
if you don't file your return after 3 years, your refunds are gone.
Yeah.
Even if you had $20,000 in refunds coming maybe 4 or 5 years ago and you just didn't file the return because you had your head in the sand, when you finally do come up with that tax return that gets filed and you had those refunds coming because they were past the statute, you lose that money. So it's, you know,
Imperative.
you can't make a determination until you know the answer. So if you're sitting home and you're thinking, oh, this is a tax show, I don't want to listen to a tax show because I owe back taxes, it is incumbent upon you to get those taxes done to find out if you really do owe the money. If the IRS hasn't been writing you, that means you have a refund coming.
Right.
That is usually the situation. When you have a balance due, they're writing you letters. When you have a refund coming and you just haven't filed, they just sit back and wait for you to lose your refund. So you want to make sure that you find out. Now, we can get transcripts
Yeah.
for
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
too.
income, right? So even if you say, oh, but I've lost all the
45016.
paperwork, we can get the paperwork.
Yep, absolutely. I do it all the time. I seem to specialize in prior year taxes. In my appointment book, Tiffany doing 6 years, Tiffany doing 10 years, Tiffany doing 4 years. And so we mail away a 45016 and we can get all their transcripts. It's really easy. The IRS likes to send them. And also a trend that I've been noticing, if people have to file and they owe, New York State has been notifying them prior to the IRS. I don't know if the New York State swing is easier, but New York State has been knocking on their door and saying, you have to file these returns. And so I've been noticing that at a greater velocity.
So the bottom line is, for our person that hasn't filed their return or owes money, get the returns filed. There's offers and compromises. There's uncollectability status. The bottom line is, once we know, we can do something. But it's like any situation. If you don't know,
Right.
ignorance is not bliss, and that's not a good thing. So when you give us a call at EG Tax, we can get you we can get the transcripts. We can file those returns. We can help you out of a big problem if we know the situation.
And then another thing is, if you don't file your return, the IRS will file a return for you.
which is not a happen.
And when they file a return for you, they don't know about the children you can claim. They don't know about the house that you
They
can
don't know
claim.
about the credits.
They don't know about the college. And so they will file the worst mathematical return for you. And so you want to file on your own
That's
behalf.
for sure. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back on the other side.
I'm attorney Dennis Kitchen. Now is a good time to look at your finances and your debts. How much debt do you have right now? If you don't know, or if you don't want to know, it may be too much. Isn't it time that you talk to an attorney about a fresh start? I've been helping many people in debt over the years, and I don't charge for an initial consultation about debts. Call for a free consultation. I'm Dennis Kitchen, and I'd like to help.
Hi, this is Tiffany Fabian, and let me tell you how great it is to have an insurance agent like Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. Ryan's 17 plus years of experience saved me money on my premium and potential claims. Have an insurance question, problem, or crisis? Ryan will work with you personally without calling an overseas customer service number. All I can say is whenever I need someone on my side, I'm glad to have Nationwide's Ryan Ferraro. For all your insurance needs, call Ryan Ferraro at 688-2199. Again, 688-2199.
Wagner Mechanical Air is a multi-service company. We're a commercial refrigeration and HVAC company. We service and install residential and commercial heating and cooling systems. We service and install for restaurants and hotels walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, prep tables, and beer wine coolers, just to name a few. Ice Machine Lease is now available as well. Includes all service calls and cleanings of ice machines. If interested in Ice Machine Lease or our other services, please call our offices today.
At Neutrino Auto, we have what your car needs. We provide car care and maintenance service like no other. All of our service technicians are ASC certified, so you know your car is in excellent hands. Parts, parts, parts! And yes, did we mention we have more parts? And we even service and have parts for tractors. cars, we sell them too. Here at Neutrino Auto, we have everything that you need to hit the pavement today. Call us today. Neutrino Auto, quality service since 1927.
I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. Thanks for watching today. We hope that you learned a lot about taxes because taxes are very confusing and complicated. When you don't know something, it can really hurt you, as what we're talking about with the offer and compromise or the uncollectible status or starting a small business. All of those things, you may say, oh, I'm too simple. The truth is, sometimes when you think you're simple, you can be very complicated. And so ignorance is not bliss when it comes to taxes.
Just going to say, with the tax law changes, they're saying you can use a postcard. They want you to use the postcard because they don't want you to take advantage of tax law. So they want the most money out of you and for you not to save. So if you use a postcard, you could be shorting yourself.
The postcard was like the 1040A,
right, but
which is what we always
still,
had.
if you don't know tax law, you could file. I could file a postcard right now.
Well, I always said the easiest tax return you can do is, what did you make? Send it in.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Everything in tax law is there so that you can reduce your tax liability and pay the proper amount of taxes. And that's what EG Tax specializes in. We want to make sure that you don't overpay your taxes. And with the transition from 17, where the 17 old laws are still in effect and 18's phasing in, we want to make sure that your phase-in is correct and that your last year's return is correct. And we want to help you if you need to contact your attorney, especially in divorce situations, so that you can figure out the dependency exemption.
Chris raised a really good point, is in the following year when the tax reform is enacted, they're going to change your withholdings and you might get more in your paycheck, but maybe you shouldn't because you're not going to be able to itemize, because you're losing your personal exemption. So just because they're going to give you more in your paycheck, maybe it shouldn't be. So you should really sit down with the tax advisor.
Right. All right, so don't forget, we have 33 area offices to serve you. Our website is egtax.com. You can download our wonderful app at EG Tax Service at the Android store or the Apple store.
Google Play or the App Store.
All right. And it has everything in it. The app is remarkable. You can sit home on Saturday night and figure out what the heck to do with it. But until next week, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We have Tiffany Fabian, Christopher Fabian, who are with us. We have 33 area offices with real people to answer your tax questions. So if you're sitting home on a Friday night and you've got a tax question, you can call any one of our staff and we're very happy to help you.
I have to chime in and say that I think that our prices are lower than some tax software prices.
Oh my gosh, and that's for sure. And on top of everything else, we give you the tax changes so that you can plan, right, for next year. Until next week, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, with Chris and Tiff. Have a great week.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners.